ART Grand Prix have announced their lineup for the 2025 FIA Formula 2 Championship, and they've gone for a mixture of bringing in some new talent and also keeping a hold of some of their trusted drivers. However, what they have kept consistent is keeping two drivers who have raced in FIA Formula 2 already. So let's reveal who's going to be on the grid for them in 2025. First of all, Victor Martins, of course. Victor, a champion with them in FIA Formula 3. He's now going to be going into his third season in FIA Formula 2. He was considered by many the favourite going into last year. Why? Because he was the top rookie, but he kind of went missing in a year where ART went completely missing themselves. So this could be a bit of a make or break year for the Frenchman. Alongside him, Ritomo Miyata. Ritomo had a very busy schedule last year, not only racing Formula 2, but also racing in the World Endurance Championship and heavily in European Le Mans as well. Carries that Toyota backing, and this could be a really big season for him in terms of long term. So excited to see how he does. With Rodin last year, we saw a few visits to the points, but that was about it for Ritomo. Could this be a year? Now with ART, if we see a resurgence for that team where a few points visits become a few podium visits. Well, that's my thoughts. Let's get the thoughts now of Feeder Series F2 editor Martin Lloyd. Martin, what do you make of this one? I mean, bad season last year for ART Grand Prix, one of the worst in their history of this championship when you consider they're a team that won this title a few times. Is this going to be a year now we see them back to where they belong with this lineup?
Yeah, I think last season was a really interesting season for ART because they came off the back of it as the reigning champions. And I think everyone kind of expected them and Prema as well, of course, to really adapt well to this new Formula 2 car that was brought in at the start of last season. But ART really struggled. I would say more than Prema. They only finished seventh in the championship in 2024. And while there was an uptick in form from Victor Martins towards the end of the season, it was a turbulent season in the other car as well, with Zach O'Sullivan having to drop out at the end of the late summer in Formula 2 because of funding restrictions. So I think it was a really difficult season for ART, who looked like they had a really strong lineup with the returning Martins, with the rookie O'Sullivan, and you expect them to challenge for championships, and they didn't do that. This season, I've got confidence that they'll come back because ART, they very, very rarely have an off season ever since the start of GP2 in the days of Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. They're such a strong team at this level. And I think that this partnership is a really strong one. You've got Martins, who was a Formula 3 champion in the past, who was a title favourite last season, and someone that I would really expect to be up there contending for wins. We know he's got Formula 1 aspirations, and if he wants to prove that he should be on that grid in 2026, then he really needs to have a really strong season here. Of course, last season it was difficult for him. It wasn't totally in his control with ART's difficult understanding of the new car, but he's really got to fight back this season. Alongside him is Ritomo Miyata, and I think Miyata's a really interesting case. He's clearly really well liked and well thought of by Toyota. He's a former Super Formula and Super GT champion. This guy, he's not a mug at all. And yet last year he had a really difficult season. While Jose Maloney was up in the top 5 of the championship, he only finished 19th with Rodin in Formula 2 last season, with a best finish of 2 fifth places in Melbourne. And it was a really disappointing one for Miyata because I think it was hoped that he could maybe be a dark horse and fight with Maloney towards the front of the grid. And he was just unable to throughout the season. But I think this season, it's his second season in the championship. He knows the grid. He knows how Formula 2 works because he's never done European racing before. He's got all that experience now. He'll want to learn from Martins, as he did from Maloney last year, and he said multiple times how important that was. But I think he can really push on this season, can Miyata, because we know that the talent is there. We know he's had a Formula 1 test with Haas, and we know that he is a really capable driver. So I'm excited for ART. After a difficult season last year, I've got confidence that they'll bounce back in 2025.
Great points there, Martin. Thank you very much. And a good point to end on, really. Miyata having that test with Haas, Martin saying he wants to go into Formula 1 in the future. That's what drivers are in Formula 2 for. Do we have two drivers here? I wonder if they have a good season that could firmly put themselves in the race for a Formula One seat in the future. Well, that is our opinion. ART, are they coming back to the top of the team's championship with a driver possibly winning that title in 2025? Let us know what you think in the comments below.